She was standing outside my door at 1:17 a.m. No warning. No text. No missed call. Just 3 slow knocks that didn't sound desperate, but weren't casual either. That's how I knew something was wrong. Because people who still have options don't knock like that. I remember staring at the door for a full 5 seconds, heart pounding, brain already running worst-case scenarios. I hadn't had anyone over in months. I liked my quiet. My routine. My controlled little life. Then I opened the door. And there she was. Hair slightly disheveled. Eyes tired but sharp. One suitcase at her feet. No makeup, trying to hide the fact that she'd been crying earlier, but not recently. She looked past me into my apartment before she even spoke, like she was measuring whether it could hold her. "I'm sorry," she said. Her voice was steady. Too steady. "I know it's late." I didn't answer. Because the last person I expected to see at my door in the middle of the night was my boss. Not just a boss. Her. The woman who signed my paychecks. Who intimidated entire conference rooms. Who never, ever looked uncertain. Yet there she was. On my welcome mat. "I don't have anywhere else to go," she said. That sentence hung between us like a dropped glass that hadn't shattered yet. I should have stepped aside politely and offered to call her a car. I should have kept it professional. I should have remembered all the rules people like me are supposed to follow. Instead, my mouth moved before my brain caught up. "Do you want to move in with me?" The look on her face changed instantly. Shock first. Then relief. Then something more dangerous. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me rewind. Because this story didn't start at my door. It started weeks earlier, when her life began quietly falling apart, and I was the only one close enough to notice. At the office, she was flawless as always. Tailored suits. Precise language. Total control. But there were cracks. Small ones. Easy to miss if you weren't paying attention. Late meetings cancelled without explanation. Phone calls taken in stairwells. A single coffee instead of her usual 2. And once, just once, I caught her staring at her phone like it had personally betrayed her. That was the first time I realized something terrifying. She wasn't untouchable. Then came the day she stayed late. Everyone else had left. The lights on our floor dimmed automatically, leaving that sterile, after-hours glow. I was packing up when I heard her office door open. "You're still here," she said. Not a question. "Trying to finish the quarterly forecast," I replied. She nodded. Hesitated. Then, unexpectedly, she sat on the edge of my desk. "You ever build your life around something," she asked, "only to realize it can disappear overnight?" I laughed nervously. "I work in finance. That's basically the job." She didn't smile. That's when I knew this wasn't small talk. Over the next few days, things escalated quietly. She started asking questions that had nothing to do with work. Where did I live? Did I live alone? Did I like it that way? I told myself it was harmless. Curiosity. Stress. Until the night she showed up at my door. Back to that moment. She stood there, waiting for my reaction. "I didn't mean it like that," I added quickly. "I just..." "No," she interrupted softly. "I know exactly what you meant." She picked up her suitcase and rolled it inside without waiting for permission. That should have been my second warning. She set the suitcase near the couch and finally looked at me, not like a boss. Not like a woman in trouble. But like someone deciding whether to trust the last solid thing in reach. "I won't be here long," she said. "Just until I figure things out." I nodded. But deep down, I knew that was a lie. Because nothing about this felt temporary. She walked around my apartment slowly, touching nothing, observing everything. Then she stopped by the window. You live alone, she said again. Yes. Good, she replied. That makes this simpler. That word, this, sent a chill through me. What happened? I asked. She didn't answer right away. Then she said, quietly, I lost my house tonight. That was the moment the story changed from awkward to irreversible. Because when someone with power loses everything, they don't just need shelter. They need someone who won't see them differently in the morning. She turned toward me, eyes steady again. So, she said, are you sure about what you just offered? I looked at her suitcase. At the clock. At the door I could have kept closed. And I realized something terrifying. I wasn't rescuing her. I was inviting chaos into a life that had been too quiet for too long. And I wanted it. I took a breath. Yes, I said. I'm sure. Her lips curved, not into a smile, but into a promise. Then I guess, she said, we're crossing a line tonight. And somewhere deep down, I knew. Once she moved in, nothing between us would ever stay professional again. The first rule we broke wasn't the obvious one. It wasn't about proximity. It wasn't about attraction. It wasn't even about her sleeping on my couch while I took the bedroom. No. The first rule we broke was pretending this was normal. She didn't unpack that night. That alone should have told me everything. The suitcase stayed upright by the wall, zipper still closed, like she was afraid that opening it would mean admitting this wasn't temporary. She sat on the edge of the couch, hands folded, posture too formal for someone who had just lost her home. I offered her water. She declined. I offered tea. She shook her head. Then she looked up at me and said, "You're being very calm about this." "I'm panicking internally," I replied. That earned a short laugh. The first real one I'd ever heard from her. "Good," she said. "Because I am too." Silence crept in again. The dangerous kind. The kind where thoughts get louder. "I should explain," she said finally. I nodded but didn't sit. If I sat, I knew I'd relax. And relaxing felt like surrender. "My divorce finalized this morning," she said. "The house was part of the settlement. I thought I had more time." Thought. Past tense. "And the hotel?" I asked carefully. She met my eyes. "I don't want to be alone tonight." That wasn't a request. It was an admission. I pointed toward the couch. "You can take that. I'll grab a blanket." She stopped me with a single word. "No." The firmness in her voice startled me. "I didn't come here to be treated like glass," she said. "And I didn't come here to be alone in the same room as someone." My pulse kicked up. "Then what did you come here for?" She stood. Slowly. Deliberately. "To feel safe," she said. "And I don't feel safe pretending we're co-workers right now." That was the second rule breaking. The air changed. Thickened. I should have reminded her of boundaries. HR policies. Consequences. Instead, I asked the only honest question I had left. "Do you regret coming?" She didn't answer immediately. She stepped closer. Close enough that I could smell her perfume, subtle, expensive, unfamiliar in my small apartment. "No," she said softly. "Do you?" I didn't. That scared me more than anything. We stood there too long. Every second daring the other to make a move. To define the moment. To ruin the illusion that this was just kindness. Finally, she exhaled and stepped back. "I'm exhausted," she said. "Emotionally. Physically." I nodded. "You should sleep." She hesitated. "Will you stay up?" "Yes," I said instantly. "Too fast." She noticed. Her eyes softened. "Thank you." She lay down on the couch without another word, turning away